We all know life is a drama, a story unfolding in episodes, in seasons. Every day, a new scene. Every year, another chapter. And in this drama, each of us naturally believes we're the main character. Perhaps that's true, but maybe that's also where the first illusion begins. Because the strange thing about being the main character is that you're only allowed to watch your own scenes. You never get to experience anyone else's story from the inside, only your own. You cry through your pain. You celebrate your victories. You remember every sentence that broke your heart, every silence that stayed with you, every disappointment that quietly changed you. But everyone else is doing exactly the same thing. Sometimes we forget that. We look at people as if they're supporting characters in our life, when in reality, they've never been supporting characters. They've always been the protagonists of their own story. Perhaps that's why life feels so complicated, because billions of main characters keep walking through each other's stories, sometimes for years, sometimes for only a few moments. Sometimes someone appears for just a handful of episodes, a simple cameo, and somehow that brief appearance changes an entire season of our life. Years later, we still remember them. We remember what they said, how they made us feel, how they left, how they stayed, how they changed something inside us forever. Yet, have you ever wondered, what if that same chapter never became important in their story? What if the moment that divided your life into before and after was simply another ordinary afternoon for them? Strange, isn't it? The same moment can become someone's deepest memory and someone else's forgotten Tuesday. Maybe that's because life doesn't give us reality. It gives us an experience of reality. And those two things are not always the same. Reality happens only once. But inside every human mind, it happens differently. Every experience quietly leaves behind something invisible, not a memory, but a way of seeing, a perspective, a lens, a version of reality. And slowly, without asking for permission, that version of reality begins interpreting everything that comes after it. The same words can sound like love to one person and disrespect to another. The same silence can feel peaceful to one heart and unbearable to another. Nothing changed. The words remained the same. The silence remained the same. Only the meaning changed. And sometimes, meaning becomes more powerful than reality itself. Perhaps that's why we don't remember life exactly as it happened. We remember life as our mind understood it, as our emotions translated it, as our fears preserved it. Maybe a memory isn't a recording. Maybe it's an interpretation. And if memory itself is an interpretation, then perhaps every story we've ever told ourselves is one too. Which raises a strange possibility. What if the greatest misunderstandings in life were never created by different events, but by different interpretations of the same event? Because maybe we're not arguing about what happened anymore. Maybe we're arguing about what it meant. And meanings are rarely born in the present. They are shaped by childhood, by love, by rejection, by expectations, by loneliness, by everything life quietly taught us, long before this moment ever arrived. Perhaps that's why certainty feels so convincing. Not because certainty is always true, but because certainty is familiar. We trust the reality. Our own mind has been rehearsing for years, and without even realizing it, we begin believing that our perspective is reality itself. And perhaps that's where life quietly becomes complicated. Because once we begin believing our perspective is reality itself, every disagreement starts feeling like a denial of truth. But what if the other person isn't denying reality at all? What if they're simply protecting a different version of it? After all, every mind is shaped by different experiences, different fears, different families, different wounds, different lessons. So how could every person possibly arrive at the same conclusion? Maybe that's why the same moment can create two completely different memories. Imagine two brothers growing up in the same home, under the same roof, raised by the same father. Years later, one describes him as strict. The other remembers him as protective. The father was the same. The house was the same. Even the childhood was the same. Yet, the reality they carried into adulthood became completely different. Strange, isn't it? Sometimes reality doesn't divide people. Its interpretation does. Perhaps that's why misunderstandings are so ordinary. Not because people hear different words, but because they hear the same words through different lives. A delayed reply can feel like disrespect to one person, and simply a busy day to another. A forgotten promise can become proof that someone never cared, or perhaps it was nothing more than a human mistake. The event happened only once, but the meanings multiplied, and maybe that's what we spend most of our lives reacting to. Not reality itself, but the meaning our mind quietly gave to it. Maybe that's why certainty feels so convincing. Not because it's always true, but because it's familiar. Because the story we've repeated inside our own mind slowly begins to sound exactly like the truth. And perhaps that's where life quietly changes. Not reality, but our relationship with it. Some actions are wrong. Some words really do hurt. Some choices leave scars that no perspective can erase. But not every burden we carry is created by reality alone. Sometimes, it's created by the meaning we quietly attach to reality. A delayed reply becomes rejection. A disagreement becomes disrespect. A silence becomes proof that we were never valued. Perhaps the event wasn't what kept hurting us. Perhaps it was the story our mind continued writing after the event had already ended. Maybe that's why the same memory can feel different years later. The past doesn't change. The people don't change. The moment doesn't change. Yet somehow, its meaning does. Not because reality became different, but because our understanding did. And perhaps that's one of the quietest powers of being human. The ability to see the same story through a wider perspective than we had before. Not to justify what was wrong, not to excuse what should never have happened, but to separate real pain from the pain created by assumptions, expectations, or a wounded ego. Because those are not always the same. Maybe that's why two people can walk away from the same moment, believing completely different things. Neither of them experienced reality alone. They experienced their version of it. Which brings us back to the question we never stopped asking. Who is the real victim here? The one who spent a lifetime protecting a single perspective without ever questioning it? Or the one who kept expanding their understanding until the weight of many realities became their own? Perhaps there isn't a simple answer, because every answer depends on how much of the story we're actually able to see. And maybe that's the real measure of a human being. Not how strongly we defend our perspective, but how far our understanding is capable of reaching. Because sometimes the difference between losing a relationship and saving one isn't another argument. It's one perspective we were never able to see. And sometimes that one unseen angle is the plot twist that changes everything.